Hey everybody, I'm CJ, and please look at your screen. This is Rotten Tomatoes, right? Masters of the Universe, Revelation. The critic score is 94%, and the audience score is 30%. Now, when things like this happen, what I've noticed is something that a lot of people tend not to mention very much is that the critics in the audience, they are watching the same thing, okay? They're seeing the same thing. And when there's a radical disparity between the critic score and the audience score, something that people tend not to mention very much, what critics are heaping praise on this show for is the very thing that the audience is heaping scorn on this show for. And you don't have to look very far in the critical reviews before you see that. You can put this to the test for yourself. You tell me. But just read the reviews of the critics, and especially the critics who filed positive reviews about Masters of the Universe Revelation. Then read the negative audience reviews about Masters of the Universe Revelation. They're basically making the same points. They're pointing out basically the same things. The difference is what critics tend to approve of is the very thing that audiences tend to disapprove of. And I don't see people comment on that very much. But, I mean, it's true. The fact is, you're never going to convince me that the great majority of these critics know very much about or even care very much about He-Man and the Masters of the Universe, whereas the audience cares greatly. They're seeing the same things, but what critics see as a positive, the audiences see as a negative. All right. And that's just something I at least wanted to throw out there and kind of balance things out. It's not that the critics are seeing value and merit to Masters of the Universe Revelation that audiences don't. They're both commenting effectively on the same things. It's just that the critics see the characteristics, shall we say, of Masters of the Universe Revelation as a good thing, whereas the audiences see those same exact characteristics as a negative thing. So thought I'd at least throw all that out there to kind of balance things out. Now, for me personally, I don't really care all that much. I like Masters of the Universe in the same sense that I like G.I. Joe or Transformers or any of those old 80s properties. I like them, but they just weren't like a really big part of my childhood. I mean, I'm a millennial, and so that stuff, it was really starting to kind of fade away about the time that I was, I can't say coming of age, but when I was starting to watch TV as a little kid, that stuff was starting to fade away. So I have a memory of it. I even have some kind of an affection for it, but I don't really have a tremendous fandom for Masters of the Universe, or rather He-Man and the Masters of the Universe. I like it, but it's just never been a mainstay of my fandom. This is one of those things where I think if I was a little bit younger, I'd probably love He-Man more than I do. But I'm not younger, or rather, I'm not older. I'm just a little bit, like I say, too young to have really gotten into this when it was first starting up. Now, one of the things that I think anybody hates and resents is being lied to. All right. And effectively, that's what Kevin Smith did. And honestly, in a lot of ways, when you think about Clownfish TV and goings on with that, lying really is the least of what Kevin Smith did when it comes to Masters of the Universe Revelation. The simple fact of the matter is that Clownfish TV, they got, as it turns out, legit spoiler info, or not, I don't know if it's spoilers necessarily, but they got legit info. And Kevin Smith uncharacteristically went on the attack. Now, one of the things that kind of defined Kevin Smith and his career and his interaction with his fans was always being pro-fan. He was supportive of his fans. He appreciated his fans being supportive of him. There are movies that Kevin Smith made that I don't know would have been as successful as they were had it not been for the fact that his audience, his fan base was willing to follow him. I don't want to say through thick and thin, but they were willing to follow him a pretty long way. And when you come right down to it, Kevin Smith's entire career always came down to standing by his fans, doing right by his fans, giving his fans what they want to see, whether that's good or bad, giving his fans what they want to see, and being accessible to them. He was sort of like a friend of his own fans. And I just find it kind of interesting that the ultimate fanboy made good. The guy who was, he was friends with his own fans, has gone on the attack against his fans, called them names, called them liars, outright lied to them. And what? This isn't going to have some kind of blowback on his career? I mean, when you come right down to it, Kevin Smith was, he was never a Hollywood insider. He was a guy who kind of infiltrated Hollywood. That's not just his own marketing. I mean, if you just look at the facts of what happened, he sort of infiltrated Hollywood, and he was able to do that ultimately because of his fan base. You know, he was able to stay in Hollywood because of the fans. And so the instant he turns on his fans, we're playing a different kind of game here now. And there may be filmmakers or movie stars or whoever, maybe other people can go on the attack against their fans and survive the experience. They maybe even can walk away unscathed. I am not the least bit convinced that Kevin Smith is going to be able to do that. Maybe I'm wrong, but I'm thinking that there is going to be one hell of a price for Kevin Smith to pay. Number one, for lying to his fans. And then for number two, well, his fans and also He-Man and the Masters of the Universe fans. But then also, number two, going on the attack against them, calling them names, calling them liars. This isn't just anybody who's doing this. This is a guy whose career up to this point has survived literally, well, I can't say literally, but in a very realistic sense, his career has survived on the backs of his fans. And for him to go on the attack against them, this is a big deal, guys. This isn't some here today, gone later today comic book writer telling fans to fuck off. Because ultimately it wasn't fans that made, to whatever degree this person's made, it wasn't fans that made that comic book writer. So that comic book writer can get by with cussing fans out, telling them outright that they don't matter, that they're dumb, they're stupid, that the things that they want are wrong and istophobic and all that stuff. It's not good that they do that, but it's a survivable experience for them because their success and their career is not defined by building up a fan base who will follow them to hell and back. Kevin Smith's career always has been. And look, maybe I'm wrong, okay? It's not like I can predict the future. But I'm thinking that Kevin Smith's fans who have stuck with him all this time, they're going to remember being called liars. They're going to be remembered being called names. And they're definitely going to be remembered, or rather, they're definitely going to remember Kevin Smith looking them straight in the eye and lying to them. So, I don't know. I mean, there are all these videos out there of Kevin Smith crying about this, that, and the other thing. I gotta wonder, is there going to be a video of Kevin Smith crying whenever he realizes what he has thrown away here? Again, I don't want to make it sound like I'm predicting the future. I just don't see how this guy has much of a future anymore after his behavior in anything to do with Masters of the Universe Revelation. Maybe I'll be wrong. But I just don't see it happening. So anyway, like, comment, share, subscribe, comment down below. And at least for right now, I think that's that. Thank you for watching. Subscribe, make sure you're still subscribed, comment, like, and share this video because it really helps me out. Also, you can find me on Twitter at Cole Loves Comics.